Okay, so we watched Sheryl Sandberg's video, her talk about why there's too few women in the workforce, why there's too few women leaders in the workforce, in the C-suite, she calls them. She brought up three good points. Her advice is directed towards women who want to be in the workforce. And she brought up 3 points. Her first one was her pieces of advice for women who want to stay in the workforce, who want to be promoted within the workforce. Her first point was sit at the table. Her second point was make your partner a real partner. And her third point was don't leave before you're leaving. So her first point, sit at the table, she talks about how within big meetings, sometimes the women are sitting on the sides and not at the table. And she says you need to put yourself out there. You need to get involved. You need to promote yourself, promote your ideas. You need to be willing to fight for that, which I completely agree with. And it's important if you want to stay in the workforce that you fight for that promotion and that you're in there with a bunch of guys, and guys are more competitive than women are, generally speaking. So you need to fight for that, and you need to have the ability to put yourself out there and self-promote, and it's important in the workforce. And if you're working towards those top positions, then you need to be there. You need to have that gumption to get yourself out there and know what you're doing and know your own value and know where you belong. She said that all of her pieces of advice were directed towards women who wanted to stay in the workforce and women who wanted to advance in the workforce. But in her second piece of advice, I guess it does address women who want to stay in the workforce, but her second piece of advice is make your partner a real partner. Talking about your husband at home, make sure that you're dividing up the work equally, that the woman in the relationship is doing about the same amount of work as the man is. And yes, that's important, and the men need to contribute at home. I completely agree with that. I don't think that women should be doing all the work at home. But there is more of a natural inclination of women to be the nurturing one, to be the just the mommy figure, it's the stereotypical mothering. But women are naturally better at that. Generally speaking, there's always exceptions to every rule, and you can't completely base all of your assumptions over stereotypes, but generally speaking, women are more nurturing than men are, and they're going to be more inclined to mother to the children, make sure everything's okay at school, everything's okay at home, just covering those bases. As far as house cleaning and things like that go, women are a little more concerned about those things. Once again, generally speaking, not in every situation, but lots of times women are the ones who are doing the cleaning and are doing those things at home because they care more about it, not just because the man won't do it, but lots of times the man won't do it to the woman's satisfaction, and so she has to do it herself. And there's a component to that, and it's important to share those responsibilities, but sometimes women don't want to. They want to be that nurturing mother and the perfect housekeeper, and there's a societal stereotype that says that you should, no matter if you're working or not. You need to have the perfect house, and all your kids need to be dressed in matching outfits, and the house needs to be passing the white glove test, and there's sacrifices that you have to make if you're going to be in the workforce, and one of those sacrifices is going to be not meeting that standard. No, your kids aren't going to be perfectly dressed every day. No, your house isn't going to be beautifully clean every day, and that's okay. And if you want to be in the workforce and you want to fully commit yourself to that, then it's okay for your house to not be perfectly clean. And it's okay, but you have to be able to let go of that. And so the answer isn't necessarily in making your partner a real partner, because your husband isn't going to do things the same way that you would do them. But you need to be able to let go of that. The answer isn't in making your husband a real partner, but it's in foregoing the stereotype that everything has to be perfect. Her third point, don't leave before you're leaving. That's not addressed to women who just want to be in the workforce. It's addressed to women who want to be mothers in the workforce. And she talks about being on maternity leave and how some women will start planning for their leaving and stop applying for promotions, stop looking for ways to advance themselves because they're planning on leaving. And that's okay, but she said, I guess 2 years after the whole baby thing goes through, in about 2 years, there's a point where you want to return to the workforce, but it's not challenging anymore because you didn't promote yourself. Sometimes women want to leave the workforce and they want to have babies, and that's okay. They want to they don't promote themselves because they want to be able to spend that time with their kids. And the reason that only 16% of some industries, the leaders, are women is because most of those women want to be at home. Some women don't want to be in the workforce. They don't want they don't want a promotion because they don't want a job that takes up all of their time. They don't want to deal with that. They want to be able to have time with their kids. I know a lot of teachers become teachers because of quality family time. They get the summers with their kids. They have a lot of the same breaks as their kids. They have the same hours as their kids. So those women aren't going to be the type of women who are going to put themselves up for principal or school board or superintendent because they don't want to. They don't want that promotion. They don't want to be in that position. They picked their profession because of the family time that it gives them. And there are women outside of teaching who pick their profession because they can determine their hours or because it gives them that enough time to spend with the kids they wouldn't get in a higher position. So you can't say, well, 50% of the world's population are women, so that means that 50% of the workforce need to be women. That's not going to happen. Men have a pressure to support their family. So a lot of men are going to be promoting themselves and looking for those top positions because of the pay, because they support their family better when they have that pay. They're promoting themselves to fulfill that providing for the family pressure that's put on them. Women, the pressure is put on to have the perfect family and the perfect house. And I'm not saying that pressure is right at all, and I don't think that it needs to be the perfect house. But women maybe want that. It's okay for a woman to want to stay at home. And lots of times the whole stay-at-home mom job is just looked down upon. But it's okay for a woman to want to stay at home. There's not a problem with that. So a lot of the women want to stay at home. Some of the women, because of economic, I guess, conditions right now, can't stay at home and they have to work. They don't necessarily want to. And so they're going to go with a job that maybe takes the least amount of time because they can still have that time with the kids and time at home. And that's okay too. They don't want the promotions. So for men, there's more of the pressure to get that top promotion because that's what they're working towards. They're working towards providing the family. Women are working towards multiple things. They're working towards providing for the family in some sense, but they're also working towards taking care of their kids. They're working towards taking care of their husband and taking care of the house. And so there's multiple things that women are working towards. So it's okay that not all of our women leaders not all of the leaders are women. It's okay that not 50% of the leaders are women. It's, I think, unrealistic to expect that. However, as teachers, we do need to teach, especially our female students, that it's okay to want either. They can want both. They can work towards both. And it's completely okay. It's really important for them to expect the same opportunities as are given to their male peers. Then they need to expect that and push for that same starting salary and push for those same opportunities. That's important. But we also need to teach them, more importantly than pushing for things, more importantly than anything else, we need to teach them to do what they want to do. They need to be able to have the freedom to stay at home or go to work and be able to do either or both. Do what they want to do, not do what society wants them to do. And that's the thing as educators that we need to push for, is showing our students that they can throw off those stereotypes, and that's okay.